Welcome, viewers. Today we will talk about lifespan perspectives. The study of lifespan development has fascinated many psychologists for various research works, but its scope is not only limited to psychology but also to those who are in any way related to psychology, education, and healthcare. Many issues like what affects development of an individual more heredity, environment, causes, and individual's own behavior has been the topic of various researches. The study of lifespan development is not only done to establish theories or to make predictions, it also done to assess various developmental phases of an individual and implement on the basis of past learnings. The study of lifespan is of interest in the field of teacher education. The teachers are taught different perspective of development because they have to deal with children and should be through with healthy development and developmental delay to be able to inform the appropriate people at the right time. Understanding child development is not integral aspect of teaching children. Psychologists use developmental milestones to judge whether a particular child is developing according to the age-specific norms or whether there are some underlying causes which are harming or hampering growth rate. Therefore, psychologists and other mental health workers study the field of growth and development. Their physical research areas may be related to reflexes, vision, hearing, motor movements, etc. Their psychological research areas may be temperament, irritability, attachment, separation, anxiety, object permanence, emotional social development, cognitive development, etc. The study of development is also of benefit to the parents and caregivers who are rearing children and want to ensure healthy development of their wards. They can refer as and when they need any guidance. Their developmental periods are considered as child and adolescence, adulthood, middle adulthood, and late adulthood. Now, understanding lifespan development. The pattern of changes in due course of maturation of an individual does determine development, but there are some patterns which remain same for a period of time, which is very natural. There are four interactive forces that shape an individual's development, and they are as follow as we will discuss further. First of all, we will talk about biological forces. These are those factors which are governed by genetics and health and affects an individual's development. For example, hunger, height, parental development, puberty, menopause, etc. Second thing, here we will discuss psychological forces. Psychological forces are those forces which are internal and indicative of psychological development of an individual. For example, instincts, perception, emotions, motivation, intelligence, honesty, and self-esteem. Third thing, we will discuss Life cycle forces. Life cycle forces determines uniqueness of an individual as compared to others. It tells how different people are affected differently but by the same event. According to the twin studies, it is evident that even the same age and heredity twins react differently to a particular situation. Fourth thing, here we will discuss socio-cultural forces. Socio-cultural forces include factors related to society in which one lives, cultural factors and ethical factors. The development of an individual is influenced to much extent by family, peer groups, classroom settings, neighbors, colleagues, etc. Issues in lifespan development. We will discuss this thing. There are a number of issues which are of concern to lifespan development. Now let's discuss them one by one. First thing here I would like to talk about is nature versus nurture. Whether the development is affected by heredity or environment. This is one of the oldest debate and study of lifespan psychology attempts to find the answer to whether the genes have the more important role to play or in the development of an individual or the environment. For its clarification, many adoption studies and twin studies have been done, but still there is no sure answer to it. According to those who believe that nature guides development, they believe that the development depends on the heredity and genetics makeup. They believe the characteristics of father and mother will determine the kind of personality of a child, or they develop the personality of the child would like to be in future. On the other hand, those who believe that development is guided by nature, environment, they believe that though there is role of genetics in forming a child and gives entity to a new individual, they still believe that it is the environment which affects remarkably to what kind of a person a child will become. For example, this can be confirmed with the adoption studies. The child who is born to an affluent and very civilized family, and due to some circumstances the same child is raised in either orphanage or in a slum, will develop an accent quite different from his biological parents. Not only the accent but all the habits, his outlook towards life and self will be tremendously, or we can say his temperament, influenced by the environment in which he is brought up. Next thing I would like to discuss is continuity versus discontinuity. There is a question whether the development is continuous or discontinuous. Now, according to theorists who believe that development is continuous, they believe that it is relativity, or we can say it is relatively a smooth process without any predetermined stages. While, on the other hand, the theorists who believe that development is discontinuous, they believe that each individual passes through definite stages and fixation at any stage result in halted development. For example, the notion that development is continuous is confined by the fact that an individual accumulates small experience at a different point in time, and all these experiences combine to form his identity or self-concept later in life. Therefore, it cannot be said that experience once felt by an individual will be lost after one stage ends. It has its role to play in the longer run. Third thing here I would like to discuss here is stability versus change. Stability versus change is another issue that asks whether a determined or development stage, we can say a stable change with due course of time. For example, whether a child who is extrovert in nature will remain so across his lifespan or not, whether a woman who remains anxious will endure these characteristics over her lifetime, or she may become balanced in her attitude and become more relaxed. These questions raise doubts in the study of development, whether development is more stable or is bound to change. While some traits and attitudes are there to change throughout lifetime, there are some things like temperament that is relative, stable, which remains same throughout life. In next video, we will talk about stages of development. Thanks for watching this video. See you in the next video. We will talk different aspect of development. So continue watching Prakshita.